Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Novella. Today is Wednesday, and that means a midweek check-in. I've been reading quite a few things, quite a few books, so yeah, I've got a lot to talk about. I've broken a promise. Our favorite garbage man, Ollie from Criminoli, and me, we are reading the whole catalogue of Patricia Highsmith. And I promised him to read 2 books a month together with him. And I already broken my promise because I read the Blunderer already in January. Sorry, Arlie. Sorry. So this is the Blunderer, and this is the 1966 cover, and this is the 2015 cover. I prefer this one, if I'm honest. The book was written in 1956, so it was her 3rd novel, and it talks about Walter Stackhouse, who is young, handsome, successful, married, has already a house, his own house, or no, his wife had a house, and they live there, they have a maid and everything. They have everything they need to be happy. But of course they aren't. And Walter wants to get a divorce because he fell in love with another woman. Now they have a fight, and the wife takes the bus to Pennsylvania, I believe, to visit her relatives because her father is very unwell, and he will probably pass away. For some strange reason, Walter Stackhouse decides to follow the bus. And because he wants to talk to his wife one more time, and at the first stop, after a couple of hours of driving, he doesn't see his wife. And he looks for her everywhere. And he thinks, well, maybe she has taken another bus. And he goes back. A couple of hours later, gets a phone call from the police saying that they have found his wife at the bottom of a ravine, and they think she committed suicide. From then, he makes one stupid, ridiculous move after another, and more police thinks and friends think that there's more to it, that this is not a suicide, but a murder, and he is the main suspect. This is what the story is about. I haven't told any spoilers because you can read this on the back cover. It is a wonderful story, very well written. Walter Stackhouse isn't the most nice person in the book, but you don't want him to be responsible for something that he didn't do. So in a way you feel kind of repulsion but also sympathy, and that's what this book is so great in. What I find is that Patricia Highsmith is a great observer. Let's keep it to that. She is a great observer, a great writer, but also a great observer of the humankind. And she wrote really in the now, what happened then. And she really knows how to capture people's behavior, thoughts, customs, and all kinds of stuff that were common in 1956. So when you read those books, you have to keep that in mind. She wrote with the now in her mind. So there are thoughts that sound weird now. It's the same I had with Carol. People have difficulty with Carol because she makes decisions that a normal, a modern person wouldn't do. And the same is with Walter Stackhouse. So you always have to keep in mind that these books are written almost, this one over 67 years ago. Carol was 70 years ago. So you always have to keep it in mind and see it as a beautiful look into 1956. So I highly recommend the Blunderer. It's really well done, really well written, unexpected, and I absolutely adore it. Then I also read Two Loves, the poems and letters of Oscar Wilde and Lord Alfred Douglas, also named Boise. So, but it actually are all the love letters of Oscar Wilde to Boise. People think that after his conviction of Oscar Wilde, that Boise and Oscar didn't have any contact anymore after his conviction and his time in prison. But that isn't the case. They stayed lovers for the rest of their lives. They really loved each other. And yeah, it's beautiful to read this. I highly recommend, if you can find it, because it seems like a very, very indie, seems like very indie. So yeah, then a book that is also written in 1964 by Waguih Ghali. Waguih Ghali. He was an Egyptian. The author was a Coptic Christian, and he lived most of his time in Paris and in England, and he wrote this book in English. That's why this book about Egyptian life in the 50s is almost unknown in the Arab world, but is very well known in the Western world. What is it about? So there are three friends, Ram, Font, and Edna. Ram is a Coptic Christian, Font is a Muslim, and Edna is half Jewish, and she is a militant communist. And yeah, they have the opportunity, well, the two boys have the opportunity to go to England to study, which they do. And while they are in England, well, especially Ram, he feels more Western or more English than Font does, and because he is also white-skinned, and he hardly speaks any Arabic, he only speaks French and English, and he is very much a product of English colonialism. Font is more Arabic, and he has a lot more sympathies for the revolution and for authentic Egyptian life. While they are in England, they drink a lot, they womanize, they mostly waste their time. They also study, but still, they mostly waste their time. But then the revolution becomes more and more serious, and the oppression towards Coptic Christians becomes greater, and they decide to come back to Egypt, well, mainly because to take care of his mother, of Ram's mother, and the two boys separate. Between Ram and Edna, there's a love, but they don't feel that their love has any chance at the beginning. So yeah, this is actually the view of a young man in the midst of the revolution in the 50s, post-colonialism, and being young and being useless sometimes, and being lazy, and drinking too much, and being human. And it's a great window to Egypt in the 50s from the viewpoint of a Coptic Christian. Really interesting, really beautiful, really well written. It doesn't feel dated at all. It is marvelous, really marvelous. And then, I don't know if anybody has heard of Denton Welch. Denton Welch was a young author and artist. He was born in Shanghai, and when he was 20, he was the victim of a car accident, and he yeah, he was badly wounded, and 13 years later he died of his wounds. He wrote 3 novels, and this is his first novel. This is the Dutch version, but it's called The Maiden Voyage. I will put this down. So The Maiden Voyage is a very autobiographical story about a young man who got into some trouble when he was 16. He ran away from school, and his family sends him to his father, who lives in Shanghai, so he could see what real life is like and maybe get to his senses. And the boy thrives there. He really loves Shanghai, and it talks about his time there, and where he falls in love with arts and archaeology, and very interesting. It's a really beautiful book, and it's just as a coming of age story. Not great things happen, but it's so beautiful, and such an amazing view on Chinese life back then, and colonialism again. And it really, really is an interesting and beautiful book. I highly recommend it. So The Maiden Voyage by Denton Welch. I hope you can find it. Then I'm starting to read my first Tarjei Vessa's book, The Seed. I'm not sure what it's about. Oh, yeah. It's about a small island somewhere off the Norwegian coast, and there's somebody who has pigs there, and there's a pig who is giving birth to piglets, and the pig is going crazy. She attacks her own piglets. And at the same time, there's a man who arrives there who is also a bit odd and a bit crazy, and people think that he is the reason why the pig is going crazy. So there's a sort of a mob, and things get out of hand, and afterwards the whole village feels remorse, and they try to redeem themselves. That is where this book is about. What this book is about. And I'm really looking forward. It's my first Tarjei Vessa's. I've heard that The Ice Palace is wonderful, so I will read that too, because I have it on my Kobo. So there you go. Then our favorite garbage man, Ollie Criminoli, has his Garbaugust 1.5 in February. And I will read 2 books. One, this is The Deep, also a translated version that I found for 25 cents. This is written by Peter Benchley, who wrote Jaws. And this is the story about a young couple who just got married, and for the honeymoon they go to Bermuda, where they go diving. They want to visit the wreckage, the Goliath, and while they do that, they find a bottle with a yellow substance in it. And there's an evil man on the island named Cloche, who wants that bottle, and because there's something in it that is really valuable. And I think that's a bit of the story. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I will also read Ravages by Violette Leduc. This story is written in 1968, and it's about a woman who discovers her own sexuality, and she has a relationship with a couple, man and a woman, and probably goes all sour, I expect. We'll see. Then, as from the 15th of February, we are going to read Fernando Pessoa's The Book of Disquiet, together with Brandon from Brandon's bookshelf, and that's for Classics and Company. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is a very beautiful book. It's not about evil people, so don't worry. It is a very beautiful, philosophical, wonderful book. Then I will also start reading The Lodger. That is for my Hitchcock challenge. So I'm going to read this year all the books that are the basis for that were the basis of a Hitchcock movie, and this is the first, The Lodger. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's a bit of a cheapo, easy print, but I don't care as long as the book is good. I'm down for it. Because it's 1st of February, and I thought, well, Classics and Company, the buddy read with Ollie, and my Hitchcock challenge from Hitchcock's shelves. I think, well, maybe I can do an extra challenge, so I will read all 4 books of the Neapolitan books of Elena Ferrante, so I will call this Februrrante. And yeah, I'm looking forward to read those 4 books back to back. Yup, I'm ambitious. I'm just enjoying myself. Although I feel that I read a whole lot slower than last year, but I still have read 31 books this year. So yeah, that's it. That's me. I will be back on Friday for a deep dive. No idea what yet, but we'll see. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.